Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our conjunction videos. And today we're going to be talking about the conjunction of Sun, Moon, Venus, and Ketu, and what happens when these four planets are conjunct in your horoscope. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this conjunction, all your other astrological details, other planetary placements, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, Aspects, and Mahadashas at the Speed of Light, including all my consultations at this link. So, Sun, Moon, Venus, and Ketu. Very interesting conjunction. If I had to choose one thing, like maybe one phrase or one word, one thing I definitely see is that your father may not have been your mother's choice. She may have had like an arranged situation to be with him. And this goes for more of a traditional cultural background like India or Eastern countries like in Asia, wherever they have these arranged situations, shows that it wasn't her choice. The other thing that I see is sacrifice. Not sacrifice, I would say. If there's really that one word, not sacrifice, is devotion. So how do we expand this? Well, first of all, Sun is what? Sun is your vitality, your ego, your self-esteem, your soul, who you are as a personality. It's actually the light behind your existence. Moon is the Akashic records of yours. It shows the experiences that you're bringing from past lives into this life. Moon is your emotion. Moon is your happiness, your comfort. Moon is the mother. And Sun is the father. Then you have Venus, the planet of pleasure, planet of comforts, luxury, relationships, marriage. And then you have Ketu, a planet which is obviously very unpredictable, very introverted, very much downwards. Ketu is a planet of letting go. Ketu is a planet of having enough experience in certain things where you don't really find attachment to it. Kind of like, let's say, you know what the best personification of Ketu is? Think of Ketu as a movie that you watched before. You saw the movie just last week. So now they're playing that movie again this week on the television. You don't want to need to watch it again. You're like, I've seen this. I know exactly what's going to happen in the next scene. Sure, you may like it if you like the movie. Like for me, I love Up in the Air. Anytime it's playing, I'm like, I'll watch it. But most of the time, if I see something that I've already watched, I'm like, okay, what's next? So Ketu represents that. It's that expertise. So if somebody has not watched that movie, you're an expert in that movie because you know what's going to happen. And you can make bets with the other person. Hey, I think this person's going to die. I think this character is going to just fall off the cliff and die. And then they do. And they're like, hey, see, I have expertise. So that's what Ketu is. Ketu is this desire to let go of material things, material wealth. Then, when all these planets come together, the first thing it shows is that a person, especially early in life, find themselves in very awkward position in relationships, in marriages. Naturally, their parents always somehow try to force them to marry someone. Okay, I got this person for you. See if you like them. See if you like this person. Oh, I got this person for you. They're always trying to get you to be attached to something immediately. Why? Because Ketu is there. Ketu is the resistance. So then what happens? You say, no, I don't want to marry this. I don't want to marry that. I don't want to marry him. Why? Because Ketu tells Venus, you've already seen this movie. Let's look for something else. So most of the people, men or women that come in your life are like, I've seen this movie. Nah. And naturally, Ketu, what it does, along with moon, is that moon is a receptive planet, okay? Moon always tries to take the light of the other body, like sun. That's a symbolism. So moon is always taking the light of the sun. And the same way, moon takes the light of Venus. So it makes a Venus hungry, starved. Ketu is a planet that is already starved. And Ketu is the energy that likes to be a chameleon energy. So what it does, it puts itself upon Venus. So it starves Venus. Or not starves it, it just makes Venus feel like you already have all these things, don't worry about it. You don't need none of this. So in two directions, the person is pulled. Do I be in a relationship? Do I not be in a relationship? Should I leave this person? Should I be with this person? And it's this tug of war that goes on till like mid to late 30s. Because especially Ketu is not mature yet, okay? And your Saturn is not mature, so you're not able to think that clearly. And especially if these planets are too close to the sun, then they're all being heated. So Venus is already getting its energy sucked dry. And it's already with a planet which is known as a desert. And then sun's heat is coming to Venus, getting this away. So one thing that comes out, this person is more interested in devoting themselves to the public. They want to give their love to the public because through the public they receive love. Like imagine if Venus is so starved, so dried, a single person may not be able to give them, fulfill that, put that water, that moisture into Venus. But Venus feels like if I am getting love from 1,000 people, 500 people, 1,000,000 people, yes, I will feel much more fulfilled very quickly. So natural inclination towards devotion comes into play. Devotion to kind of like the Mother Teresa devotion, especially if Venus is exalted in Pisces. If Venus is, let's say, in earth signs or fire signs, especially in certain earth signs, Venus will be craving material things and luxury and the fine dining more than anything else. You know, like how you meet certain women in your life or men in your life, they're like, I need to have a rich person. I need to have a rich husband. I need to live a comfortable life. I need to have this. I cannot just marry anybody. I need to be married into a rich family. Because why? Not because they're all about money or all about this. They're not gold diggers. See, gold digger statement is only relevant if they simply want things more. In this situation, what's happening is Venus is starved. Venus makes this person feels like, oh my God, I have nothing. And anytime I get something, it's not enough for me. Because it's so dried and so out of the moisture that it says, okay, I need fine dining and that nice steak, and I need to be in a cruise so I can get this Venusian energy going for myself. And I can just feel alive again, loved again. So that's one thing of Venus that happens. It's not like they want to be gold diggers. It's that they have to be because their Venus is starved. It's like if you're starved, you'll eat anything that comes your way. If you haven't eaten for 6 days, if you saw even a bug, you'll take and eat it. So Venus is so starved that if it sees something, it needs it. And then it needs it more. Because when you're hungry, what do? You eat one thing after the other. Hop, 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 hop. And then within 10 minutes, you're just like, you can't even move. So Venus is so starved that it needs things now and in huge quantity. And especially Venus signifies our love for the family assets, relationships, marriage. So early in life, these people will be very immature in marriage. Not very childish in marriage. Why? Not because they want to, because Venus is starved. Venus has no idea what relationships are. They don't have a clue how to deal in marriage and relationship, what to do next, and what to do next. So what happens? They get into a relationship because Venus is so starved, it needs something. But when it gets something, It's like, okay, so now what am I supposed to do with it? And this is specifically happens when all these 4 planets are closely conjunct. You have to see the degree separation from each planet to really understand how Venus is going to be affected by this. Now then comes Moon. Moon is the mind. Okay, so mind is now being affected by Ketu, Sun and Moon. And here the mind becomes very creative. Mind feels like I somehow feel I am creative. I have done this singing and music. Somehow it just gives me love and pleasure. So mind shows that along with Sun. Sun is like this. Sun and Moon are pretty much that they need each other for our existence. So, and especially depending upon the sign that they're placed in, one of the other planets will find more power. So if let's say it's happening in the sign of Scorpio, Ketu will be much more powerful and will control all the 3 planets. If it happens in Taurus and Libra, Venus will control all the planets. If it's happening in Leo, Sun will control all the planets. If it's in Cancer, then Moon will control all the planets. If it's in some other sign, then you have to see which planets are more friendly and neutral to the sign. So if let's say it's happening in the sign of Aquarius, Capricorn, Venus again becomes strong because Venus is friends with Saturn. If it's happening in the sign of Sagittarius, Moon and Sun, especially Sun, becomes very strong. So that's how you want to study this and see which area of life that they're starved in. If it's happening in Gemini, maybe they lack communication. They lack communication skills. Or they're so hyper communicative that they have no idea what they're talking about. If it's happening in Cancer, they're always just want emotional connection with every person that they come across. The relationship has to be all about emotional and tears. For them, that becomes the most important thing. So you have to understand the dynamics of the signs as well. Okay? And especially Venus, represents the spouse. So not only you are hungry, you attract the other person who are just as hungry as you and lacks the expertise in relationship as you do. Because you are what you attract. So if your Venus is a certain way, you're going to attract that type of a Venusian person. So then when they both come, it's like positive and positive. They come together, but they just like, oh, you can't figure me out. I can't figure you out either. All right, maybe we need to repel. And once Venus matures, after like 34, 35, then when Venus matures and Venus gets a little bit of moisture, because when you were born, Venus was starved. It was dried and burnt and, like a desert planet, dried. So it'll take time for Venus to regain that moisture. So in your 30s, you regain that moisture again in Venus. And Venus is like, okay, I know how to handle relationships now after my enough failures. So that's how this conjunction goes. And especially for these people, you'll find them either absolute sex crazed or not crazed about sex at all. It's one or the other extreme. That's what I've seen and studied. Okay? So guys, this is my analysis of Sun, Moon, Venus, Ketu conjunction. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your conjunction is placed, all your astrological details, my books, consultations, for that, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you Friday with my moksha video. Bye-bye.